Hello again. So this is the third video in a series of three. The first video I talked to you about the power of getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, which is a theme that has been really showing up in my life over the past couple months, and the results have been pretty magical. The second video was about the power of intention and asking for what you want, and I shared some stories with you about how my life has shifted dramatically over the past years in regarding being supported and feeling supported, and that was from asking and setting intention. And today I want to talk to you about the power of storytelling. So storytelling is what I do. So my company is called The Exposed Soul, and we're a communications company. I call it truth digging and storytelling, and I work with entrepreneurs to help them expose themselves a little bit because, I think that we all have stories that need to be heard in the world, and when they're shared, it is healing, but it also creates community and connection, and it converts readers and viewers into clients or fans or super fans. So it's really magical. I mean, if you think about it, in the online world, it's a blessing and a curse because, you have the potential to reach thousands and hundreds of thousands or millions of people. But at the same time, there's so much noise, it can be hard to stand out. So I think the best way to connect is just to be yourself, be your authentic self, but you have to be a little vulnerable and share parts of your story, right? Especially the parts that aren't necessarily the highlights. People are really okay with sharing the highlights, but some of the lowlights are a little bit more difficult, the challenges, but that creates such amazing connection. So I want to share a little story with you. So before starting this company, I had a technology company I ran for 7 years, and we started off really good. So I started the company in my living room, and it was when my firstborn daughter was 6 months old, but we grew like really fast, like crazy fast. I went from 0 to almost 3 million in annual revenue within like the first 2 years. So it was crazy. It was a fun ride. But the growth continued, and then some shifts happened in the market, and we started losing money. We started running into cash flow issues. And long story short, I had to close that business, which sucked because, you put your heart and soul into a business, and closing it, it's difficult. It's like one of your children, basically. But not only that, like I felt like a failure. Like I was also doing what my passion is too on the side, was working with entrepreneurs to help them grow their businesses and doing coaching and consulting. And I felt like, how am I going to coach and consult people when I just shut down my business? But luckily I have really good coaches and mentors in my life, and they pointed out to me, like, Dawn, you're still the same person that grew that business in the first place. None of that has changed. And yeah, maybe some things could have been done differently, or, it's just a matter of chance that things happen the way they did, but everybody has mistakes along their journey, and it's just propelling you to the next step. And she gently reminded me, like, Dawn, you never said when you were a little girl, like, oh, I want to sell electronic components when I grow up. No, you're creative. You wanted to be a writer, and you didn't do that because you went to business school because you were convinced you wouldn't make money as a writer, and blah, 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 blah. So she was totally right about all of that, and it made me feel like, okay, I need to like own my story and quit like feeling shame around it. So I decided to be really bold and share my story with a blog post through the Huffington Post. And mind you, it took me a year. It was like a year after my business closed before I shared this. And the blog, it took me like a couple months to write, where normally it would take me a couple hours, because I was just like, I don't know what to do. Should I say this or not? And because it was sensitive to me. But I gotta tell you, after I published that blog, which I was like scared, I'm kidding, the publishment, like, oh. But after it was published, I was like, so humbled because I got, these really amazing emails and comments where people were like, thank you. This is exactly what I needed to hear today. I feel so much better about myself or about my situation. Some people were inspired to share some really personal things about their own life. And then I had one woman who is now my client, and she's awesome. She read the email or the blog, but she was on my email list. She's like, Dawn, I don't even know how I got on your email list, but as soon as I read this story, I was like, I have to work with her. I need you to write my story. She's like, you are so raw and vulnerable, and I just really felt inspired by it. And so we talked, and she ended up hiring me. So now I'm writing her story for her, and I'm so excited about that because she's awesome. But that's the power of storytelling, and that was my intention when I published that too. I was like, I want to give people. First, I was healing for myself. There was that, but then I was like, I want to give people permission to fail fantastically and to get up and to move on and to own that as part of their story. It's part of my story. And that's what I do in my copywriting company, is I help people own their story, all parts of it, the highlights and the lowlights, so you can really connect with your readers and your viewers by sharing so openly. So with that being said, I do have an offer for you guys today, just because I really want to connect more with my community and get to know you guys a little bit better. So I'm opening up my calendar, and there'll be a link where you can post it. If you're interested, if you have a business and you have a website, and your business, I don't care necessarily what your business is, but you have to have, it has to have some mission, a purpose, a passion behind it. So if you're just in the business to make money, no judgment, but that's not who I'm looking to work with and connect with. I like connecting with people that are really connected on a deeper level with their business. They have something out in the world that they're super passionate about. So my offer is this: if you sign up, I will take a look at your current copy on your website, and I'll let you know what I see that is really strong, and that you're doing this awesome. And then I'll also let you know where the gaps can be filled in, what could be stronger, what am I left, looking for. So, when someone goes to your website, you don't have a lot of time to make an impression. So they have to know what you do, but they also have to know you. They have to feel you. They have to know, okay, I like this person. I want to work with them. And your words can be really powerful and impactful in doing that, and by telling stories and by being a little open. So if you're interested in that, sign up. I will review your copy, and then we will set up a call and do 30 minutes on the phone. And then full disclosure, this is what I do for a living. So if, I tell you what I like and what you can improve on in your website, fully you can go and run with it on your own and implement those changes. And I strongly encourage that. Or if you're like, I really don't like writing, or I don't have time for this, Dawn, will you do this for me? Then yes, we can talk about that too. So just want to be, I don't like gimmicks and all that. So I want to fully disclose that conversation will happen as well. But that's it. So I just encourage you to be a little open and don't be ashamed of your story. Whatever has happened in your life has happened for a reason. I know that sounds so cliche, and you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. And even, especially when really bad stuff's happening, you're like, okay, yeah, get out of here with that. But it is true, and sometimes it takes a while to realize what that reason is, but trust in it and don't be afraid to share. Okay, that's all for now, but I love you, and we'll talk soon. Bye.